Programs regularly scheduled will not be seen at this time, so that we may bring you continued coverage of the championships. Wimbledon.
The struggle to compete in the games year after year exacts a toll on mind and body. Distractions had dampened his spirit until a renewal of purpose thrust him back into the arena, a gladiator tempered with new steel. Of battle had nearly forced him from the games. But in this fortnight, we have seen flashes of his courage and brilliance once again. Now their minds are willing and bodies able, yet only one can advance to the championship combat, the arena, Wimbledon. Welcome to day 11 of the championships at Wimbledon. Overcast skies, the backdrop for a feast of tennis action to come. Only 4 men remain, including Pete Sampras, continuing his quest for Grand Slam title number 13. Sampras has become as traditional as strawberries and cream to the patrons of the All England Club, who anticipate a great day of tennis, including the 1992 Wimbledon champ and last year's runner-up Andre Agassi. Agassi arrived at the All England Club a short time ago. He and 2-time U.S. Open champion Patrick Rafter are first up on center court. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Ryan. Welcome to NBC's coverage of the championships from our studio just above Court 18. 5 hours of tennis ahead on this day, the men's semifinals. We'll also bring you coverage of the Williams sisters' semifinal doubles matchup against Anna Kournikova and Nastasya Zvereva. But we'll start on center court with the gentlemen, and with the call, a pair of gentlemen, Ted Robinson and Hall of Famer John McEnroe.
We haven't been called that a whole lot.
We take that as a compliment, Tim. Thank you very much. And Andre Agassi and Patrick Rafter take the court for a reprise of their semifinal here at Wimbledon in center court last year. Well, it has been a remarkable year for Andre Agassi, going back about 13 months to the French Open of last year. Yet, John, there were some questions about Andre coming into Wimbledon. The way he beat Philippoussis in the quarterfinals, has that answered the last remaining question about him?
I think so. But you know what's unbelievable is that people started to write him off so fast. I mean, this guy won the Australian Open 6 months ago. The run that he had starting with the French Open last year, finals of Wimbledon, winning the U.S. is unbelievable and great for men's tennis. And you can see just the way he walked out. He loves this court, and he loves to be here. I mean, that's just a little bit of what we're talking about. He got hurt at the French, had some blister problems, lost in the second round. But other than that, I mean, that is a magnificent record. He walks out in the court there, Ted, and he's just so comfortable there. I mean, Sampras, obviously, this is his cup of tea as well. But Agassi loves these type of moments as well.
And of course, at an age when many of the great champions were already past their prime, at age 30, here's Agassi, still the #1 threat to dethrone
Inspiring us
Sampras.
old farts.
Well, Patrick Rafter, we mentioned, was here last year. Battled Agassi tough for 3 sets with a shoulder that was aching, that would eventually need surgery. This is the best result he's had since that surgery, John. Can he go all the way?
Well, yes and no. I mean, yes, he can go all the way. Will he? No. As far as I'm concerned, this is it for him. I mean, he's back where he belongs. I mean, that's the good news. Rafter is an excellent player. His game is tailor-made for this surface. He's complained in the past. You see, that's not going to build your confidence early, 8 and 9. But since then, he won a warm-up tournament in Holland before he came here. That helped. He's gotten to the semifinals here. Yes, his draw has been relatively easy, but now he has to play 2 great matches. Now, I don't think he's confident enough quite yet to do that. He doesn't feel that he moves quite as well on this surface as hard courts. Now, someone should tell him that this court's perfect for him, because if he's ever going to beat these 2 fellas, it would be here on grass, I believe.
Now, Philippoussis with his huge serve could not beat Andre. Does that discourage Rafter to see how can I do it?
Rafter's the best volleyer around. I mean, he's a guy who likes to come in first, second serve. Philippoussis is actually more comfortable on the back of the court. As you saw, he attempted and failed to trade ground strokes with Agassi. The difference is Rafter is going to attack Agassi's serve. Philippoussis was content to stay back, which I think was a big mistake. It looked good. It made for entertaining tennis, and it gave Agassi more confidence. But the bottom line is that I'd be surprised if Rafter did that a whole lot.
Well, Andre Agassi hoping for a trip to the finals for a 2nd straight year, ostensibly against Pete Sampras. Patrick Rafter hoping to stop that and make his first Wimbledon final, and it's coming up.
Wood, leather, adrenaline. The new Lincoln LS, Motor Trend Car of the Year.
I'm not really close to Anna Kournikova. First of all, there's that whole language thing.
A PE ratio is price divided by earnings. Earnings per share is a company's net income minus preferred dividends.
It's like she's speaking a different language.
Can anyone say asset allocation? Mid cap, small cap.
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm,
Growth fund.
we created a smarter kind of investor.
Besides, some of the other players are kind of jealous of her, you know, portfolio.
At IBM.com, we sell a full line of Unix servers, like the B50. It's affordable, stackable, perfect for starting your e-business. We also sell the world's fastest web server, the S80. This one fits almost anywhere. The other one, well...
Keep it coming. Keep it... Stop.
Closing the door.
Oh, boy.
I like... Oh, someone hit the button. Elevator up to code.
I'm very uncomfortable with this. I can't reach the button, so...
You might need to make a little space.
Leon, I think your hand is... yeah, there you go.
C'est Pete Sampras.
Agassi.
Nah, Pete Sampras is my favorite player.
Sampras.
Andre.
Pete.
Agassi.
Maybe Pete Sampras.
Andre Agassi.
Oui, c'est lovely.
I think Sampras. Sampras can't beat him. Andre. No.
Pete.
Andre?
Pete Sampras. A giant amongst men.
Come on, Andre!
Talking great forehand.
Thwack.
Agassi.
Definitely Sampras.
The smash!
Over there.
Pete!
He's a winner. He's a tosser.
I don't know what I'd scream.
Andre!
Pete! Drive!
Is there a third option?
The Championships, Wimbledon, brought to you by Lincoln American Luxury, by Charles Schwab. When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we also created a smarter kind of investor. By IBM, www.wimbledon.org, the official website of the Millennium Championships, is an IBM e-business. And by the St. Paul Companies, property and liability insurance for business. Without question, the St. Paul.
Center Court Wimbledon, gentlemen's semifinal day. And of course, the anticipation is of a Sunday rematch between Sampras and Agassi. Patrick Rafter will be the first to try to stop that as he faces the 30-year-old native of Las Vegas, ranked #1, coming to Wimbledon.
Seeded 2 here, though, behind Pistol Pete. That record was excellent early in the year, and early in this tournament, he escaped serious problems against Todd Martin in particular. A couple breaks down in the 5th, a couple match points, but since then he's looked like the new and improved Andre Agassi.
and not broken once in his match against Philippoussis. As we look at Rafter, once briefly #1, rank at 21 following the shoulder surgery that sidelined him for 6 months.
6 months, and then having to get back out in the court another couple months, building confidence, getting some more strength, serving. And you can see by his draw that not once in reaching the semifinals has he played a seeded player. You talk about taking a step up now. This is a situation where Rafter has got to play the best tennis he's capable of, and even then he's not sure he can win. I mean, that's the other part that worries me, is the fact that when I read in the paper he says that he's got to play the best he can, and he has to hope Agassi drops down a notch. Now, if that's the case, he's not all that confident.
When you're hoping that your foe has a bad day, not the best. Well, they met here for the very first time 7 years ago in that third-round match. And what a change. Agassi was the defending champ that day, John, and Patrick Rafter was a qualifier.
No, but at that time, though, Rafter was considered a future Wimbledon champion. Let's not forget that. And he has since won 2 U.S. Opens.
And now we have a chance to hear each player offer a scouting report on the other.
Patrick is a great athlete who has a lot of variety in his game. I mean, he can stay back and kind of peck and paw his way around the court and use his speed, and then he can get in to put pressure on you at the most crucial times of a match, and he can serve volley and chip charge, and he can, then the next thing you know, he'll stay back for 15 balls in a row and just try to keep the ball in play. So he's always thinking out there. He's always using his athleticism.
Someone like Andre, you can't just get the ball back over the net on your return. You have to do something with it, because he opens up the court on his serve, and he just rips the next one. And grass is not an easy surface to move on. And once you're out of balance, he opens up the court, and he's in control.
And Rafter serves to begin the match. First service. Again, John, that little note that Patrick Rafter dropped in there about not feeling all that comfortable moving on grass.
Exactly. I mean, here he is talking about how tough it is to move. Seems like the writing's on the wall. We haven't started yet.
Love 15.
The other problem for Rafter, on top of the other ones, is it's a little bit windy out there today, and Agassi is an excellent wind player. Growing up in Vegas, quite often had to deal with gusty conditions, and he's such a short backswing that he's able to still play effectively. Rafter much more precise, and you can see already Rafter, that was the first serve he stayed back on, the second point of the match. I mean, this is a guy that normally serves and volleys every point. That shows you how much he respects Andre's return.
They met here last year in the semifinals. The first 2 sets were extremely tight. Agassi won the first set 7-5. Second set in a tiebreak. Third set went quickly at 6-2.
Last year, though, Rafter had a lot more tennis in him when he played Agassi, a lot more physically fatigued. A tough match with Todd Martin in the quarters. He had played Becker in the 16s and doubles. You're going to see plenty of that today. Not too much hopes Rafter, but Agassi once again getting that return down low and just scraping the line there.
John, and Rafter played all of that tennis here at Wimbledon last summer with a shoulder that was hurt So much so that he had to walk out of his first round match at the U.S. Open, where he was the two-time defending champ.
In the 5th set. And that's a rough way to go.
And eventually had surgery in October. The thing Rafter said, the reason he didn't have the surgery sooner was that he was so keen to play Davis Cup for Australia.
And that's something that me, as captain in Davis Cup, likes to hear. Someone who really prioritizes Davis Cup. And he did win a tough 5-setter against Todd Martin to win that tie. In extreme heat. Not the case today. We're talking about 65 degrees right now as this match has started. Typical London weather. But as I came here, it was windy. But I notice right now it seems perfectly still out there. No problem.
15 love.
Yes, on the grounds, it was certainly the breeziest day so far, but it seems like the wind gets blocked here at center court.
It really does. I mean, it's a fantastic stadium for tennis. The best, I think.
13 love.
There's 2 singles here. Crowd is not totally filed in yet. And this is what helps Agassi so much, winning those easy points on his serve.
14 love.
Rafter's not known as a great returner.
And last year in their semifinal match, Rafter did not break Agassi.
Every little bit's going to help Patrick gaining some confidence. Step in and hit a backhand like that. Even though it's 40 love and he'll probably lose the game, perhaps will help him later on in this set.
So an easy first service game for Andre Agassi. She doesn't say very much, but even Steffi Graf was impressed enough to call Agassi's performance against Philip Husas flawless.
Rock solid. Mentally. That's probably what she was referring to. So into it. You can see those eyes right now bulging, waiting to return Patrick's serve, get on top of him early. It's incredible to think as you look at their head-to-head, that was 7-3 Agassi, that in Rome last year, which was a couple weeks before the French, Rafter beat Agassi on clay.
That doesn't make sense. Rafter beats Agassi on clay, and then several weeks later they play here, and Agassi beats Rafter.
There's why you can see it's going to be so tough for Rafter. I mean, he hit about as good a volley as he could have possibly hit and still lost the point.
Love 30.
Well, we've seen this before, and we'll see it again. Rafter scrambling now, love 30. One thing you can see Rafter is he's definitely trying to mix up his serve and even throwing a little loop there to Andre by staying back, just not letting him get into a groove. Definitely calculated.
40-30.
Well done to recover to 40-30.
Boy, that was a blast. 121 miles an hour. And we open the match, this men's semifinal, 3 straight holes.
the lead. 2 games for 1.
In the new internet economy, 96% of the Fortune E50 run Oracle. Oracle. Software powers the internet.
There are many of you. There's you the homemaker, and you the homeowner. You the gourmet, the paramedic, and the diplomat. You support the world, but who supports you? You are one of 68 million Americans who aren't getting enough sleep. The kind of deep sleep you get on a bed that uniquely cradles and supports your body as no other bed does.
Oh, I love this bed.
The crown jewel from Sealy Posturepedic. We support you, night and day.
How does Lotrimin AF start curing athlete's foot? On contact. How does it start to relieve the itching and burning? On contact. So if you can't wait to feel better, there's nothing like starting the cure on contact. Lotrimin AF, the killer cure. At Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, our global expertise has always been one of our greatest assets and greatest sources of pride. Of course, whatever we achieve throughout the world, we can never forget who we're achieving it for. At Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time.
Home run king Mark McGwire, Ken Griffey Jr., Mike Piazza, and more. Baseball's Night of Stars, Tuesday on NBC.
Boy, I didn't realize it was that bright in the coach's box, John. Brad Gilbert had to fight that glare off.
Yeah, he's just, loosening up.
Chatting away with Perry Rogers, Agassi's manager.
His son Zach to his left. Rafter almost fell down and won the point. Agassi saw him out of the corner of his eye and got a little bit of careless there. See, that's the difference between him and Philippoussis. He's not going to sit around and wait too long. A couple balls maybe, but then in he comes and forces the error.
So first little chance for Rafter here at love 30.
Way in front of that return.
How does Andre do it? How does he keep serving his way out of trouble like this? Not that he's all the way out in this game, but
in that case, Rafter just was a poor return because he respects Agassi's passes so much. He goes for too much. But that's why he's got to make the ones the previous point, though, because Agassi comes back. He's 30 all now, and then he gets the first serve in, and he's lethal with this. So tough to tell where he's hitting it, on top of the fact he's got so much pace on it.
More quickly, that love 30 edge for Rafter gone, and we're on serve at 2-all. Tomorrow morning, breakfast at Wimbledon returns. Live coverage of the ladies' final. Venus Williams going for her first Grand Slam against defending champ Lindsay Davenport. Live at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific, right here on NBC. before this match is over, we will get a prediction from you.
People can hardly wait. Trivia question of the day. Who will McEnroe pick? Sound like the guy in TNT for a second. Yes, it's Williams in 3.
Very nice.
What do you do if you're Rafter there? You take a wild guess. You know he's in major trouble. Says, well, I hope he hits it there, but no such luck. That's great effort by both players. First, this classic Rafter volley. Agassi almost fools him again. This time, Rafter just gets his racket just enough zip on it to get it by him. Who said tennis players aren't great athletes? Was that you, Ted?
No.
No.
Did you ever go to the Superstars?
You know, I was asked to do that, but you know, I saw some of those boxers swim, so I didn't want to make myself look too bad. I didn't want to be only good in ping pong.
Great touch by Rafter.
Wasn't the touch, it's how well he stayed with it, because he knew if he just got the ball over, he'd win the point. He didn't even hit this cleanly. If you watch here, caught the bottom of the racket, but it was the right play. Just stayed down nicely with it.
Will he get discouraged, John, if Agassi keeps returning?
Well, he knows this is coming. I mean, the thing is, as soon as he serves it, it appears the ball's coming back, and that's what he's got to prepare himself for. The ball comes back in a hurry with Agassi. Can't get discouraged.
That's the quality of the great serve and volleyers.
Well, that's a classic, you know, mentality. I mean, the serve and volleyer's got to believe it's going to happen 20, 30, 40 times that he will get past or have shots like that, but that he will persevere in the end. Agassi thinks differently, though. He's the only guy that could win Wimbledon from the baseline. He's inside the baseline here, takes it nice and early, no backswing. Looks easy for him, but believe me, it isn't.
Well, first break point, but Rafter survives.
Both players just working up a nice lather now, getting into this.
Weather such as it is, John, I think those who figured Rafter would take his shirt off early in this match are going to be disappointed.
That's true. Might have to wait to the second. Oh, just missed it. It's definitely the hardest I've seen Rafter serve, so that shoulder must be feeling good. He's in the 120s on the first serve. That was about 106, and happy to see that bounce just wide.
Rafter, one of the hardest workers, says he has to be fit to play.
Well, he's just got to come right back from this. Go after the same forehand again, perhaps. To say, I'm not convinced, and I will not be convinced. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. Nice play by Patrick.
Advantage.
Right
Rafter.
back to the forehand. Gets that offhand up to make sure he knows where that ball is exactly, and puts that overhead away. Almost.
Could have tried the Venus Williams left-handed shot there. But Rafter saves a break point and holds.
The world is very large, and it spins very fast. Every once in a while, however, something unusual happens. We slow down. We come together. And that is when the Earth really starts spinning. That's why we are doing what we can to make it easier for the human race to stay united.
Why? It is a small word, but it is a quick, sharp, and abrupt word. Why? It is the chosen word of the nonconformist, the defiant, and the visionary. It is a confrontational word.
Why?
It challenges what's thought to be impossible. If you are not afraid to ask why, you can change whatever it is you want.
Is there an insurance company that believes knowledge is critical in managing risk? Without question, the St. Paul.
Jeopardy.
Seinfeld.
Eggs.
Butter and jam.
Jesus.
Princess Diana.
Swing.
Salsa.
Older.
Younger.
Drama.
Comedy.
I like the Coyote. Hope he gets it. Little
Roadrunner.
Independent.
Republican.
Boxers. Briefs. I don't know.
The death of my coach.
Train.
Train.
Sour.
Sweet.
Crushed.
Cubed.
Sinner.
Saint.
Breast.
Leg.
Ah. My backside.
My movement.
Coffee.
Tea.
Oh, Santana.
Pearl Jam.
Backhand.
Forehand.
Wear down.
Demolish.
Don't know.
Patrick Rafter sitting here trying to achieve his first Wimbledon final. His arrival on the tennis world, though, occurred in Flushing Meadow, New York. In fact, 1997 was the year Rafter really emerged on the tennis scene. John got to his first final at the Open, took care of Greg Rusetsky. First Aussie to win since John Newcomb 24 years earlier at the Open. Then the next year, the all-Aussie battle with Philippoussis.
And you know what got Patrick Rafter over the hump that first time? A little round of 16 win over the guy he's playing right now, Andre Agassi. His excellent record at the majors. This is equaling his best ever here at Wimbledon. Shows he can play in the dirt. A semifinals a couple years at the French. Australian disappointing for him.
That's got to be a shock, isn't it? He's never gotten past the 16s.
It's a shock to the Australians. Yeah, they figure, how can this guy win at the Open twice and not do better here? Which so much shows you how much pressure he puts on himself there. Plus, he's had years where he hasn't been healthy down there. Didn't even play this year, for example.
One of Rafter's main goals in coming back this year was to be ready to play in the Sydney Olympics,
which will be about 2 weeks after the U.S. Open. So no rest for these fellas. Whoa. That's the most irritating play to have to deal with. You see your opponent drop shot your serve. That's insulting enough, but, you know, to do this after that, Agassi not happy about that.
Love 30.
Well, here he is, second straight service game at love 30.
15-13.
Anybody ever do that to you? Drop shot your serve?
One time, the first year I played the U.S. Open, Arantes drop shot at me virtually every point and then lobbed over my head like that. He must have done it 25 times, and I never had an answer for it, which is rather embarrassing to admit. You know, funnily enough, in the old days when I played, if you drop shot at someone's serve, that was like an insult, unwritten law, just like swinging volleys were.
Really?
Which now you probably have 80% of the guys do it. See, I used to do it in doubles, but it was not acceptable in singles.
Agassi. We're down on that.
That is a textbook example of a defensive lob, though.
40-30.
And it's also a perfect way to deal with it. Agassi's so strong up high. Loves to pump that iron.
Well, for the second straight game from love 30, Agassi storming back to hold. 3-all. Over up to the minute scores and stats. The place to go, the official Wimbledon website at wimbledon.org, powered by IBM.
Gil Ray's his fitness trainer, or let's just say he pumps iron with him. Tells him to run up and down hills as he watches, not here. Say hello to Gil if he's, I presume, watching. I'll bet my life on that.
Was that something Andre had to do, John, to compete with the power in the game?
Just so he felt more confident in himself. And he felt he needed to do it.
Love your team.
Certainly a lot of big boys out there now. But I'll tell you that more important to me would be that the cardiovascular fitness, running up and down the hills that got those legs so strong.
Do you remember playing him in Stratton in 1986? Andre was 16.
I still have a bit of a memory.
Yeah, that's a good admission.
They asked me the other day about the semis before I played Connors as a qualifier, comparing myself to Volchkov. I couldn't remember how I slept that night. I was too busy having to deal with Telcher and Van Hoff in the same room still. The 3 American juniors at Wimbledon. This is where Rafter better be careful now, because he's had a couple chances of love 30, but he himself now has to deal with the same deficit.
Well, I won't go all the way back that far, but apparently you played Agassi when he was 16 at Stratton, walked off the court and told people you had just seen the biggest forehand ever.
A little wilder then, but you could sense that this guy was going to be great. Got to catch them when they're really young.
While Agassi was obviously an exceptional player at an early age, not so for Rafter. He was not one of the leading juniors coming up through the ranks in Australia.
By the time he was 19 or 20, though, they were expecting big things from him.
Right, that's when he grew and he filled out. As a teen, he was a little thin. He played a serve and volley game, and he got beat all the time. He never made the touring Australian junior team.
It's hard to imagine that he was ever thin. You look at him now. Very strong bloke, as they say down in Australia.
And it was here, John, that match we referenced as we see his serve, that when he played Agassi here as a qualifier in '93 and played well, it was right at that point that John Newcomb and Tony Roach, who were watching, took him under their wing and began working with him.
There's Tony Roach, great lefty. Half that Newcomb-Roach team. There's that agility from the big guy. 6'1½", extremely strong.
14,
you know who he lost to in Wimbledon in '94? He won't believe this. Sergi Bruguera. 13-11 in the 5th.
Was that when you were coaching, Sergi?
Yeah, that was the 5 minutes, yeah.
Well, Rafter survives his own love 30 game. And we stay on serve in the first set.
Rafter leads 4-3. First set, 4 chances.
I see her the same time almost every day. She's always there waiting for me, you know? You could set your watch by her. Look, she's a real sweetheart, you know? I mean, I bring her lunch up to her apartment and I sing Italian love songs to her.
In cities across the country, Philip Morris provides grants to Meals on Wheels programs to eliminate waiting lists so that thousands of additional seniors can have a hot meal and a visitor.
I'm the only person she sees most days, and if I could just get a smile on her face, well, it's the high point of my day.
Philip Morris and Meals on Wheels are fighting more than just hunger among the elderly. We're fighting loneliness. Working to make a difference, the people of Philip Morris.
At Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, our global expertise has always been one of our greatest assets and greatest sources of pride. Of course, whatever we achieve throughout the world, we can never forget who we're achieving it for. At Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time.
The 2000 Lincoln Navigator. It's so luxurious, so comfortable, and so peaceful. You can almost hear a needle drop. The best-selling full-size luxury SUV in America is also the most powerful in the world. If you're interested in hearing more, drop in.
Home run king Mark McGwire, Ken Griffey Jr., Alex Rodriguez, Mike Piazza, Barry Bonds, Bernie Williams, Ivan Rodriguez, and more. Baseball's Night of Stars, the All-Star Game, Tuesday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on NBC.
Well, after his win over Mark Philippoussis, Andre Agassi was asked if he felt he was on the brink of playing his best tennis at Wimbledon.
Near enough to really step it up, I feel like, and that's what's necessary at the end of a slam. You know, just when you know, you get through some tough matches, you have to be willing to kind of hit the gas and accelerate and really ask more of yourself, and I feel like I'm in position to do it, and it's a nice time for it to come around.
That's a nice way of saying it.
Was that yes?
That was a nice way of giving us a little Agassi moment.
Mm-hmm. But he's talked about it. Second week. I'll be a second week guy here at Wimbledon. That's great confidence.
See, that's what the great players do. They have it in their back pocket. They can take it up another notch.
Well, he probably had to dig into that back pocket a little earlier than he thought against Martin.
A lot earlier, but he knew that was coming, though.
Mm-hmm.
15 all.
In fact, Todd Martin in the entry rankings is 2 spots ahead of Patrick Rafter. Rafter got a seed here at Wimbledon, while Martin did not.
Well, you got to feel for old Todd. I mean, first of all, he played such a great match. He really should have been seeded. I don't think Nicholas Lepente, for starters, deserved to be ahead of him. I happen to like Nicholas quite a bit, but there's Rafter at his best. Nicholas Kiefer has struggled health-wise. Safin has never done much, certainly on this type of surface. Here's Rafter. He's so quick to just take advantage right there. Flick of the wrist, goodbye.
Rafter.
Greg Ruzetsky was another guy that was below Todd and seated above him. He broke Vince Spadia's losing streak.
Ruzetsky was the seed here. I think that was the most curious because he's not had ever any great success here as Agassi speaks to Lars Graf in the chair.
Did she say good? So that was an overrule.
Got to remind him what his last name is.
Takes care of that problem.
This was very short. I'm not sure if he meant to hit it this short, but Agassi has plenty of time to step in. He's so strong. He's tough to read. Point to level at 4-all.
I think Rafter's concerned that the chair umpire's name is Graf.
He's from Sweden.
Lars Graf.
Looks like a practice session. Too bad it had to end that way.
Now, what would you think Rafter's trying to accomplish with that one slice backhand after another?
Well, that's a good play on grass. There's no doubt. You saw the ball skidding. It's not easy to deal with. I guess he kept his cool. And it literally got to the stage where they just were not going to give in, either one of them. Here's a great one. Rocket Rod Laver. Nuke's got a 3 in the belt. Lou Ho, who a lot of people said was the best ever in that 3-4 year period when he was playing injury-free. Now, it's nice to see Rafter just playing so well out there. And this is unbelievable, really. That's behind him. I guess he just had to say that's a too good, but you're going to get some more of those. You better keep it up.
And stay with us. You'll only see that difference grow as this match goes along.
I guess he will pick his spots, but he's not going to be serving and volleying out there. Rarely we see him miss a shot that easily. The way he controlled that backhand, he sort of just hit it inside out and hit it really just exactly where he wanted to.
So an easy game for Rafter. And we move on. 5-4 first set.
Dateline Friday.
I've been blind for 43 years. I thought there was some chance we could help him. I would like to see my boys and my wife.
Mike's inspiring story. Dateline tonight.
Keep your eye on the ball. It's earnings season. Watch CNBC and profit from it.
All the world over so easy to see. People everywhere just wanna be free.
GTE
Wireless is now Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Visualize this. Close your eyes.
It's hard to describe.
I guess the best way to describe it would be an all-day endorphin rush.
They're drawn there because it's a magnet. The gravitational force.
It just seems like a really magical place.
I know this guy who just got back, man. He loved it, man.
Yeah, you got it. I was happier than a June bug on a tomato plant.
It's Disneyland's all-new Autopia, presented by Chevron.
It's just above and beyond anything that you could expect or try and explain.
Our national pastime came west during the gold rush. And for the first 100 years, baseball in the Bay Area offered promise to saints and sinners alike. With legends like Lefty O'Doul and Joe DiMaggio fueling the myths and fantasy of this great game. From the windswept sandlots to the triumphs of young boys dreaming of glory, Bay Area 2000 presents Baseball by the Golden Gate, the early days, Tuesday after the All-Star Game on Channel 4.
All the world over so easy to see. People everywhere just wanna be free.
GTE Wireless is now Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Pam Moore and Suzanne Shaw, New Center 4 at 5.
Log on to wimbledon.msnbc.com for Chris Everett's in-depth preview of tomorrow's ladies' final. Plus, have breakfast with Bud, as you can chat live with the man who literally wrote the book of tennis, Bud Collins, during the championship match between Venus Williams and Lindsay Davenport. That's on wimbledon.msnbc.com. Breakfast at Wimbledon at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m.
Get up early, get that espresso working.
And we should find out when our friends in Guam can see it.
Well, there's a Rafter we know of, Chip Chars, and also the Agassi we've seen all too often hit the pass. Well, he's been working on that backhand.
Rafter has?
Look to me. I mean, I don't recall him having that much zip. Maybe he's been hanging around Philippoussis. Normally likes to chip it and doesn't hit it with this much power. Surprised Andre.
Does it surprise you that Rafter, John, has gone as long as he has without one formal coach?
He's just one of those guys that likes to be around the boys, so to speak. I mean, he really, he felt uncomfortable in a way being at the top of the tennis world, and he likes to just hang around. And I think the fact that he travels with the Davis Cup coaches for him is enough. He can work with them at the big ones. He has his brothers in tow. A couple brothers are here with him. He comes from a family of about 10 kids.
Yeah, he's the 7th of 9, as we see Andre, yeah.
$40-15.
All right, 7th of 9 children was Patrick Rafter, and as you said, brothers are with him, and mates, which is the Aussie term for having your buddies with you.
There's 2 of the brothers.
Game, Agassi.
Agassi holds for 5-all. I thought today we'd see all the Raptors with the zinc oxide smeared under the eyes, even though it's a cloudy day.
I wish it was sunny, because it makes them look rather mean out there. One thing I've liked about what Agassi's done since the Todd Martin match is he's brought Todd Schneider along, who's the Davis Cup trainer. Works with Todd Martin, did work with Jim Curry, used to work with Pete Sampras, and for the first time, I know this is incredible, there's Todd there, who does an excellent job for us in Davis Cup. He's actually, this is incredible to say, stretching and getting massages.
Andre Agassi?
Andre
He's
Agassi,
still my heart.
Who gets about a massage a year and stretches about once a month for a minute, is now realizing finally, after how stiff he felt playing Todd Martin, that it maybe be a good idea to bring Todd along with him. Great move.
So he is human after all.
I know. I was beginning to wonder, how does this guy do this? Pumps iron, runs mountains, doesn't stretch. You see why this match is going to be entertaining, because you got the great baseline player and the great net man. Both trying to probe each other's weaknesses. Rafter too good there. Plus you got the guy with all the charisma, Agassi, the great looking Australian. We have ourselves a ratings bonanza.
Well, looks like we're heading to a first set bonanza in a tiebreak.
Foul.
Well, Rafter's done his part. And Agassi will try for his 6th hold and a tiebreak when we come back to Wimbledon.
Well, when I got hurt and missed work, glad I had supplemental insurance.
Supplemental insurance? What's that?
Aflac. Well, even best insurance doesn't give you cash to cover things like lost pay, other expenses. This does.
What does?
Aflac. Shouldn't ask about it at work.
Really? And what's it called?
Aflac!
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Aflac.
It is the year 2000. But where are the flying cars? I was promised flying cars. I don't see any flying cars. Why? 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 Because billions of people all over the world can work together on the web 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't need flying cars, but you will need a different kind of software. It's a different kind of world. You need a different kind of software.
What is it?
The lights out.
Don't worry, honey. Daddy will fix it.
An easy-to-start Honda generator can power dozens of necessities, like a heater, refrigerator, television, or something really important, like a 4-watt anti-monster defense system.
The American Century Celebrity Golf Championship this weekend on NBC.
Not only was Andre Agassi's serve never broken in his semifinal match against Rafter here a year ago, it was never broken in their first meeting here at Wimbledon either in 1993.
Well, that's pushing it a little. Go back 7 years. I think he still remembers last year pretty well, but it is amazing that in 2 grass court matches where Agassi serves and stays back all the time, that not one single time has he been able to get over the hump. And only 5 break points. 5. Not many.
So if you're Rafter, you're thinking hold and tiebreak, right?
Yeah. Win 3 breakers. The Ivanisevic method of advancing to the finals. Where's poor Goran now?
Well, that didn't work for Goran against Andre, did it?
Well, it's pretty close. 6-4 in the 5th set back in '92, and a couple tough losses to Mr. Sampras. Goran never able to get over the hump, and now his career in shambles. God, he looks good, though, out there. He can hit it all. He can come over it. He's got some nice velocity on that backhand down the line, which is
Please turn off your mobile telephones.
forced Agassi back. And, of course, before the set's over, you get the mobile phone request. And then he comes right back and absolutely knifes a backhand right in the corner. And he's 2 points from winning the set. After not breaking the Agassi serve for 7 years, could it be here? At Wimbledon, that is.
Well, he's got 2 chances.
Just when we bring up the graphic. The kiss of death for Agassi.
No, that is long, and Patrick Rafter finally breaks and has taken the first set in the men's semifinal.
This town will not put up with the vulgar body movements of Elvis Presley.
I saw him gyrate his body and wiggle his hips. He should not be on television.
Okay? Put your seatbelt back on.
I can't. It's rather cooler.
I can't. It's going to be cooler.
I'm going to turn this car around. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to stop this car.
Can't you two just get along, okay? We're going to be in Florida in 20 hours.
I want to go swimming.
Want to go on a real vacation? Search with Snap.com and find the perfect getaway. And now you can enter to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas.
Tradition begins for a reason. The quality and style of our tennis wear will make you look and feel like a champion. Don't mess with an original. Wear Wimbledon.
Why is it that no matter where you are in the world, there is always a place for people to come together? When you think about it, it's simple. Humans are a social bunch. We need each other. That's why we are doing what we can to make it easier for the human race to stay united.
Well, this center court crowd that has been a little quiet during the first set, I think now stunned because what had been a fairly even set, John McEnroe suddenly swings on 1 break point.
That's grass court tennis. I mean, if you looked at this, you would have thought Agassi pulled this off. But no, we have ourselves a match here. Agassi looking to bounce right back. It's the low return once again that sets up this pass.
These two played a hard court match this spring just after Rafter's return. They played in the Miami tournament. Agassi won that in straight sets, 4-4.
Ouch. Hit him in the hiney. He may have something to say about this. Right here, Agassi comes in. Rafter probably wishes he had not made that volley.
I was thinking, thank goodness he turned around.
That's right. If he wants a family as big as his parents. 30 off. Well, he's certainly come into this match with an excellent game plan. And the harder part is actually getting the job done.
What's the most effective part of it right
now?
now?
It's everything. The fact that he's mixing up his serve, the speed, and the placement, and also off the ground. Not allowing Andre to get in any sort of rhythm yet. He stayed back with them some, and then he chipped charges, and he thrown in a couple drop shots. He's put a lot of zip on some serves, yet sliced some into the body. I mean, this is textbook play against a great baseliner. The question is, can he keep it up? That's the part that's going to be the problem. Shoulders got to be feeling pretty good if he hits shots like that.
40-30.
A long road back for the Aussie, but glad to see he's looking fit and healthy.
A wonderful mix. He's such a hard worker at tennis, but he also has got that Aussie trait. He takes his downtime.
Very humble guy, too.
In fact, John Newcomb, his Davis Cup coach, he said that's the thing that he thinks hurts Rafter the most.
That's why it's good that I hang around a guy like Newcomb, and particularly Newcomb, who had that cockiness and the big ego, and Roach, who's more like Rafter, so gets his cake and eat it too.
Newcomb said that Rafter has that little doubt in his mind that he always wonders if he's really as good as people tell him that he is.
You know, he's not the only one, though. Everyone has those doubts at times.
So Rafter holds to start the second set after breaking Agassi to win the first set.
First game, second set.
Well, tomorrow morning, breakfast at Wimbledon, live at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. And hard to believe, but yes, there will be another player on the court tomorrow with Venus Williams, and it's none other than defending champ Lindsay Davenport.
Well, I don't think any surprise there once she saw that she was getting her fitness and health back, and when she got through that early round 3-setter where she was in heaps of trouble at 3-love down, she's telling herself, Ted, I got to play one great match and I'm going to win Wimbledon. It's not a bad deal.
Nope. Lindsay practicing right now on court 7.
15-love.
God. How do you know this? It's court 7?
Come on, we
you have information.
This is confirmation from our production crew.
I was questioning you. I thought you just made that up. Coach Vantoff in tow. Actually, that was Robert De Niro on the other side of the net. Looks like he's going to knife the backhand, and he just opens the face of the racket at just the right time. You have to practice that a lot if you want to learn that shot. It doesn't come that easily.
Second double thrown in by Agassi.
This can't be. I mean, he'd never lost his serve. Now all of a sudden loses serve to set. Now he's in a bit of trouble here. That's a good overall. Rafter knows it too. Chalk flew up. As we'll see on this replay. There you go, a little confirmation. In case you're second guessing us here.
Now we have a great view of that baseline. I've learned never to question your eyesight.
Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. That's what you have to.
Well,
you got to just keep going.
You've been telling people that for 30 years.
That's what I still try to tell them.
40-30. Let's proceed.
People forgot he had a first serve. Still a second serve to come. Relax, folks. Classic Rafter there.
Cheers.
Well, by now, Agassi got to be thinking, John, about some things maybe he's going to do differently. Or no?
He just wants to pick it up a little bit. Get a little momentum here. That's the shot that I don't think he expected Rafter to have. I certainly didn't. He's expecting to win these points from the baseline.
Advantage, Rafter.
And have Rafter do this to him is shocking, I bet. Now Rafter break point again. What's going on here? Believe this.
Exactly what Andre is asking. Rafter now up a break in the second.
McGinnis, our producer, John, no more graphics.
2 games to love. Second
He's
set.
gone in the toilet here.
Well,
let's show a graphic that Agassi hasn't broken yet. Then it will come, the break back.
well, Andre Agassi came into this match, I'm sure, thinking many of the things that we spoke about earlier. The Rafter's coming back from an injury.
Can't be 100%. Doesn't have the confidence. Doesn't like to move the grass. And look what the score is right now. Best I've ever seen him, other than those U.S. Open wins. Certainly the best he's ever looked here. In the zone.
Now, Rafter said he needed to play well, and he needed to catch Andre on a bad day. So far,
that's exactly what's happened. Agassi hasn't returned. He's had some opportunities to love 30s, missed a couple, for him, easy returns. He's allowed Rafter's confidence to grow here substantially. There you go. And he's a little desperate. He's got to pick it up here.
15-30.
At the time, Agassi shows you why he's one of the greats. Boy, he took that ball early before it got up too high on him. 2 break points.
Beautifully done, and suddenly Agassi plays 3 points where he looks like the Andre of old and breaks back. And we're on serve, second set.
When was the last time you felt 284 horses tugging at your soul? When was the last time you immersed yourself in hand-tufted virgin leather? Can you really put a price on this kind of perfection?
Actually, you can. Because this $70,000 car could cost you over $326,000 in retirement savings. We just thought you should know. Ask a financial advisor about Sun America, the retirement specialist.
Only one can be the best. To get there takes strength, speed, and endurance.
One athlete's foot medicine has it all. Lamisil AT.
Strength.
Full prescription strength to stop the itching and burning.
Speed.
These take 4 weeks of treatment. Lamisil AT cures it with just one.
Endurance.
3 months later, you're still athlete's foot free.
Game over.
The official athlete's foot treatment of the NBA, Lamisil AT. The best way to cure athlete's foot.
What is Tyco doing today? We're supplying doctors around the globe with tools to save lives. What is Tyco doing today? Working in your world. Tyco International.
I just hope it's healthy.
I hope they're playing land safely.
I don't want to go to the hospital anymore.
I wish I could get my email out. I wish my network had more bandwidth.
I hope we get 1 million hits.
I wish they had a cure.
I wish I could have done more. I wish I had more time.
Agilent Technologies. Dreams made real.
Agilent Technologies PowerPoints, and we've just seen the power return of Andre Agassi.
And how about the last game? Just when he needed it, comes up with not 1, not 2, but 3 outstanding returns. Steps in close to that first one. Takes this one early with enough power. And when Rafter thinks he's going to blow one by him, feathery touch over the head.
Almost as if there was telepathy working, or like he was listening to you. And at that moment, picked up his game. 3 great points in a row.
God, I wish that was even a little bit true.
Well, save that telepathy for Santander, Spain, will you?
Right. We need him to win a couple singles. Trouble there. One-handed, and that's how he did it. It's a one-handed backhand. Doesn't put too much pace. I mean, the scary thing is he actually meant to hit that shot. Get it right down to Rafter's feet. He's a little too fatigued to put that volley away. Looking to get that point over in a hurry.
When you say fatigued, you meant fatigued by that point?
Just by that point. He's a little winded. Just got a point or two before it comes back.
So a hold of love for Agassi. 2-all second set. Believe it or not, next weekend, Patrick Rafter.
That's right.
Philippoussis will be flying home.
Not sure about Philippoussis, and Leighton Hewitt, who's their third singles player, is still in the mix with his girlfriend, Clem Kleisters. They're in the semifinals, so that'll be a quick turnaround for those folks down under, but they are playing on grass, so they're heavy favorites against Brazil. We have a week off, then we go to Spain, where we have to play the favored Spaniards on the dirt.
How much preparation will your Davis Cup team, will Agassi get on clay before Santander?
An hour or two.
Okay.
That's enough.
You're going to push him a little bit, huh?
I got to push him to get the 2 hits. Somehow I don't think he's coming straight from Wimbledon to Spain, you know, if I had to guess.
Well, there might be a Camp McEnroe where you might get them all together for a week of hard training.
In 1960, if I was Davis Cup captain, that would have perhaps happened. And now Agassi back on serve, ready to take over here.
First double by Rafter. Broke a string, 9 straight points for Agassi.
15 out.
This is the shot. Rafter put enough zip on that Agassi only could get the ball back. Did a good job just getting it back. You're not going to see Patrick miss volleys like that. Ooh, just clips the tape.
30-15.
Heavy is when it has a lot of spin and just comes at you in a hurry, even faster, and the ball feels like it's heavier than it actually is. Just like that second serve, it exploded off the court. Maybe like a baseball pitcher when it makes that extra noise into the mitt.
Is that a natural born asset for a player, or can you develop that?
I think both. I mean, it is a natural born for some, but some can develop it.
Second serve win there by Rafter, and he holds on serve. Second set.
Rafter leads 3-2, second set.
After a hard day chasing antelope around the Serengeti, one craves the particular effervescence that comes only from Schweppes. An absolute tonic. Ooh, hello, my dear. Would you care to join me for dinner later?
What about my boyfriend?
Well, I like elephants, but I couldn't eat a whole one.
Aww.
Schweppes, just a little more taste.
Focus your efforts with Investors Business Daily. It's not just a newspaper. It's a unique research tool that helps you make the best decisions. Investors Business Daily. Don't read it. Use it.
Hello? What? Are you sure? Okay, we'll be right there.
What is it?
Minnie Blackwell's having a party.
Let's roll.
Looking for a good time? The Civic from Honda.
Is this the Tanaka residence?
Yes?
Yeah, I'm with Rent a Relative. It seems your cousin Aoki couldn't make it.
Your cousin Aoki couldn't make it because his frequent flyer miles had a blackout date.
So he hired me to take his place.
Say cheese.
Heads up!
Web Miles. Any airline, any flight, anytime. Earn miles even faster with a Web Miles MasterCard.
NBC Mondays in 2 weeks. Once the ventilator is switched off, it will be very fast. Discover the difference between a mystery and a miracle.
Oh my God! You investigate miraculous
phenomena.
The hand grabbed me.
A new drama, Mysterious Ways, NBC Mondays in 2 weeks.
Here at center court, Patrick Rafter and Andre Agassi. This is the first men's semifinal. The second semifinal to come. Pete Sampras playing the remarkable story, the qualifier from Belarus via Brooklyn Vladimir Volchkov. You'll see it on TNT coverage at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That's right, Volchkov grew up in the Belarus, but escaped for several years through the help of some friends and relocated in Brooklyn.
Stefan Marbury's high school. Peter Fleming, my old doubles partner, worked with him, played with him sometimes. He had holes in his sneakers. I mean, he literally had one pair of sneakers that was a year and a half old. Peter was wondering why he was slipping and sliding on the clay courts they were practicing on. He took a look at his shoes, said, let me help you out here, get you a couple pair. The guy thought he had died and gone to heaven. And what a story to see him in a Wimbledon semi.
2 weeks ago when he started the qualifying here, his situation was much better. He had very little clothing, was piecing outfits together from other players. His father is cooking meals. They have one flat that they've found here in the Wimbledon area, and his father's cooking meals for him. And now he's won more prize money in 2 weeks than he ever dreamt of.
Just glad to see that Agassi didn't try to pull it between the legs here. That he realizes he's in a tough match and tries to pull that one off, but that's not going to get the job done either. That's a good way to get the crowd on your side a bit. You know, they love Agassi.
Might be the first time Rafter made this. It might be the first time in daylight he's made that noise.
14-15.
I'm not even going to respond to that.
And Agassi with the hold for 3-all, second set. All right, our Affleck trivia question for today. The last time